Hey, good evening. We're going to talk about our geometric sequences today, how to find our common ratio, and how to write the equation, the explicit equation, for a geometric sequence. So the first thing we need to know about geometric sequences are what makes them geometric. Well, in a geometric sequence, the first term is going to be multiplied by a common ratio, and then we will multiply every subsequent term, every next term, by the common ratio to get the next term. So for example, I'll go down to number 7 on the bottom here. I'll take 5 and I'll multiply that by 6 to get 30. And then I would take that and multiply that by 6 to get 180. Multiply that by 6 to get 1080. Multiply that by 6 to get 6480. So you can see we're doing multiplication. Just like in an arithmetic sequence, we would have done addition or subtraction. Here we're going to multiply by the same number every single time to find the next term. Finding the a sub 1, that's probably the easiest part, so I'm going to go back up to 3. Finding the a sub 1 just means the first term. So this sub 1, subscript 1, just means that's my first term, much like a with a little subscript 25 would mean the 25th term. And then to find your common ratio of any geometric sequence, take any number in here, any number in your sequence, doesn't matter where it is, and divide it by the number that comes before it. So here my common ratio, I could take 10 and divide it by the number that comes before it, which is 40. So my ratio would be 10 over 40, and I could simplify this to get 1 over 4. Or if you did this in a calculator, 0.25. So notice here that if I multiplied 40 times 1/4 or 40 times 0.25, I would get 10. That's a quick way to check. You can always multiply any term by the common ratio that you think we got. And if it works, if it gets your next term, then you know you did it correctly. So here my common ratio would be 1 over 4, or 1/4. Let's look at number 4. Again, a sub 1 would be 2. So my first term is 2. Now the common ratio doesn't matter. I could take 10 and divide it by the number that came before 10, or I could take 50 divided by 10, or 250 divided by 50, and I think you get the picture from here on. As long as I divide by the number that came before it, that's all that matters. So 10 divided by 2 is the same thing as 50 divided by 10, or 250 divided by 50. It looks like I'm multiplying by 5. So my common ratio, the number I multiply by every time, is 5. And we could check that. 2 times 5 is 10, times 5 is 50, and so on and so forth. Now numbers 5 and 6, I'll give you a minute here. See if you can find the common ratio in the first term in 5 and 6. So pause the video, check your work by unpausing and watching my work. All right, so if you're unpaused at this point, you should have already completed this problem, or these two problems, and you're just checking your work at this point. So number 5, my first term is 4, and to find the common ratio, you could have done 12 divided by 4, or 36 divided by 12, or 324 divided by 108. As long as you divide by the number that immediately came before it, you'll get the common ratio. 12 divided by 4 is 3, so it looks like we're multiplying by 3. And then 18 to 6 to 2 to 2/3, I could take 2 divided by 6, or 6 divided by 18, and I could simplify these to get 1/3. So I'm multiplying by 1/3 every time. My first term is 18, and my ratio is 1/3. Now to find the next 3 terms in a sequence, all I would have to do is take my common ratio. Once I find that, 30 divided by 5 is 6. Once I take my common ratio, then I can just multiply everything times my common ratio to get my next term. So 6,480 multiplied by 6 rather, is 38,880. If I multiply that by 6, I get 233,280, and I'm running out of room already. Oh goodness, that's 1,399,680. So you can see these numbers grow very quickly. Now, in our next video, we're going to look at, once I have my equation, we're going to find our equation, and once I have it, what can I do to write the equation of a geometric sequence? So stay tuned for that video.